I turned 27 last week. It was a quiet birthday, just a dinner with my girlfriend, a few texts from friends, and the usual HBD comments on social media. I wasn't expecting anything dramatic. But what happened at exactly 7:14 p.m. changed everything. That's when I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It just said, "Happy birthday, Eli. I'm alive. Grandpa." My whole body went cold. My grandfather, Victor, died 7 years ago. Massive stroke. I was the one who found him in his recliner, cold and stiff, remote in hand, the evening news still playing. I went to the funeral. I gave a eulogy. I helped my mom sort through his things. We buried him. I saw the casket go into the ground, so I assumed it was a sick joke. I texted back, "Who is this?" The reply came instantly. "It's me, Eli. I had to disappear. But I'm okay now." My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my phone. I didn't tell my girlfriend. I didn't even breathe. I just stared at that message like it had opened a crack in the world. I called the number. Straight to voicemail. The voice didn't sound familiar. It was one of those generic robotic carrier recordings. I tried texting again, asking questions. "Where are you? What do you mean you had to disappear? Prove it's you." Nothing came back. For the next hour, I paced around my apartment, trying to make sense of it. Then I remembered something. When I was 16, Grandpa Victor took me fishing. Just the two of us. During a long quiet moment on the lake, he looked at me and said, "One day if I ever disappear and you hear from me, ask me what we caught that day. If I can answer that, it's really me." I never thought much of it. Just one of those weird grandpaisms. So I texted back. "What did we catch at Lake Briar?" 3 minutes later. 3 perch. "You caught the biggest one and wouldn't shut up about it." My knees buckled. That wasn't in any photos or journals or Facebook memories. We didn't even take photos that day. There's no way anyone else would know that. I still haven't told anyone in my family. I don't know if I'm being played or if someone's using AI, or if something impossible is actually happening. All I know is the number texted me again last night. "We'll talk soon. Be careful who you trust." That's it. And now I can't sleep. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the walls, every car passing outside made my heart jump. I kept staring at the last message. "We'll talk soon. Be careful who you trust." I locked my doors, checked the windows, even turned off my phone for a bit, like that would stop whatever this was. By morning, I convinced myself it had to be some elaborate prank. Maybe someone from my past digging up old memories to mess with me. But there was still that detail. The perch. Lake Briar. I never posted about it. Never talked about it. And even if someone was messing with me, why now? Why my birthday? I went to work, tried to act normal. But the whole day felt like I was being watched. Not in the dramatic Hollywood kind of way, just this constant pressure like eyes were on me. I couldn't shake it. That evening I called my mom. I didn't mention the messages, I just casually asked if Grandpa Victor ever said anything weird before he died. Anything about running away. Faking his death. She laughed, said no. He was proud of being predictable. Routine was his religion. Then she hesitated. "There was something strange at the funeral," she said. "The funeral director said someone left a white rose on his casket. Before the viewing even opened. None of us brought it. I never knew that." That night I turned my phone back on. No new messages. But there was a voicemail. The transcript was broken, garbled. "Eli, not safe, you need to, the house, under the floorboards." My blood ran cold. I played the voicemail. The voice was hoarse but familiar. It wasn't exactly my grandfather's voice, it was rougher, slower, but there was a cadence to it I recognized. Like someone trying to remember how to be him. The house, under the floorboards. I knew what house he meant. Grandpa's old cabin near Pine Hollow. He sold it 2 years before he died. Said he was too old to keep it up. But I remember helping him patch up a loose floorboard near the fireplace once. He joked about hiding treasure under it. It's a 2-hour drive. I didn't even hesitate. I left that night. I haven't been back there since I was 19. The place looked the same, maybe even untouched. Like it was waiting for me. I found the loose board. Pulled it up with a crowbar. There was a tin box underneath, wrapped in plastic. Inside were 3 things. A Polaroid photo of me and Grandpa at Lake Briar, one I'd never seen before. A key. Old rusted. And a note written in shaking handwriting. They told me to vanish. I had no choice. "If you found this, they know you're looking. Do not trust anyone who contacts you next. Especially not her." No name. No signature. Just that. And now I don't know who they are. Or who her is. But 5 minutes after I left the cabin, my phone buzzed again. New number. One message. You shouldn't have gone there. I floored it out of the woods. My headlights barely cut through the fog rolling off the trees as I sped down the gravel road from the cabin. The message, you shouldn't have gone there, was still open on my phone, glowing from the passenger seat like it was watching me. I didn't reply. I just drove. I didn't go home either. I went straight to a 24-hour diner 2 towns over. Somewhere public, well lit. I sat in a booth with my back to the wall, clutching that tin box like it was some kind of bomb. My mind kept going in circles. Who were they? What did Grandpa mean about vanishing? Who's her? I took out the key and turned it over in my hand. It wasn't like any house or car key I'd seen. Thicker. Older. Maybe to a storage unit? A safe deposit box? I thought about calling the police, but what would I say? Hi, my dead grandfather might not be dead, and someone is texting me cryptic threats because I found a box under a floorboard in his abandoned cabin. Yeah, no. I kept thinking about the note. The way he wrote, especially not her. There was weight to that. Fear. And it triggered something, an old memory I hadn't thought of in years. Grandpa used to have a friend named Marianne. She visited the house a lot when I was a kid, always wore sunglasses inside, always dressed in gray. I remember her asking strange questions even back then. Once, I overheard her whispering to Grandpa in the garage, something about exposure and moving timelines. When I asked him later who she was, he just said, she works for the people who make things disappear. I thought he was joking. Now I'm not so sure. Around 3 a.m., just when the diner was nearly empty and I was debating whether to book a motel, someone slid into the booth across from me. She looked to be in her 60s. Neatly dressed, silver gray coat, sunglasses at night. I froze. She didn't introduce herself. She just said, your grandfather never should have contacted you. My blood turned to ice. I tried to play dumb. I don't know what you're talking about. She smiled, but it wasn't friendly. We're not here to hurt you, Eli. We're here to contain a situation. Victor knew the rules. When he broke them, he became an anomaly. Anomaly? I repeated. She ignored me and reached into her coat. I flinched, but she just slid something across the table. A folded piece of paper. Read it. Then walk away from this. That's your only chance at a normal life. She got up and left before I could ask anything else. Like she'd rehearsed the whole interaction. I opened the note. One sentence typed. He chose to leave to protect you. Don't make his sacrifice meaningless. There was a drop of water on the paper. At first I thought it was mine. But it was dry. And red. I looked out the diner window. She was gone. And now I'm sitting here wide awake, staring at the key, the note, the photo, and I have no idea who to believe. But one thing is clear. This goes deeper than I ever imagined. And I'm not walking away. I didn't leave the diner for another hour. I just sat there with that note in my hand, reading it over and over. He chose to leave to protect you. Don't make his sacrifice meaningless. Whose words were those, really? Hers. Theirs. Or had Grandpa written it himself, under pressure? When I finally stepped outside, the night was silent. Too silent. No wind. No cars. Just this heavy stillness that pressed on my chest like I was being watched by something I couldn't see. I got into my car and drove aimlessly. I didn't want to go home. I knew it wouldn't be safe. I couldn't trust anyone now, not even my own memories. So I drove for hours until the sun started to rise, until I could convince myself that what had happened at the diner wasn't some fever dream. At a rest stop on the edge of town, I finally opened the tin box again. This time I turned over the photo. Me and Grandpa at Lake Briar. Something was written on the back, so faint I'd missed it before. Locker 108. Union Street Station. My stomach twisted. That station had been shut down for years. It used to be part of the old rail line back in the 70s before it was closed due to structural issues. A couple of my high school friends had broken in once to take photos, said it was creepy, full of abandoned luggage and graffiti. I knew what I had to do. I went home just long enough to grab a flashlight, change clothes, and stash the tin box in my backpack. I taped the damn thing shut. My hands were shaking again, but not from fear this time, from adrenaline. It was still early enough that no one would see me break in. I parked 2 blocks away, scaled a rusted side gate, and slipped in through a busted service door. The air inside was cold and stale, thick with dust and the scent of forgotten time. Union Street Station was a mausoleum of echoes. My footsteps bounced back at me like whispers. Graffiti covered the walls, names, dates, strange symbols I didn't understand. Pigeons fluttered above, startled by the beam of my flashlight. I found the locker hall down a long corridor near the collapsed west platform. Half the doors were ripped open, their contents long gone. But there it was. Locker 108. Still shut. Still intact. Covered in dust and cobwebs. The key fit perfectly. I opened it slowly, afraid of what might fall out, or crawl out. Inside was a leather-bound journal. A thick one, full of loose pages stuffed between handwritten notes. On top of it, a folded envelope with my name on it. My full name. Eli Prescott. In Grandpa's handwriting. I opened the letter first. Eli, if you're reading this, it means I failed to keep the past buried. They'll come for you now just as they came for me. I was part of something once, something secret, dangerous, and very old. We thought we were helping the world, but we were only delaying the collapse. I left because I learned the truth. Do not trust her. Do not trust anyone who speaks in riddles. The truth is buried in the pages below, but it will cost you. You'll see things you can't unsee. You'll have to make a choice I never could. If you want to finish what I started, turn to the marked page. If you want peace, burn this journal now. I stood there, the air thick and heavy, the letter shaking in my hands. I opened the journal. There was a page marked with red thread. And at the top just 4 words. Project Threshold, Phase 1. I flipped the page. And that's when I saw her. A photo paper-clipped to the page. The woman from the diner. Standing beside Grandpa. Smiling. Holding hands. Labeled underneath in Grandpa's handwriting. Marianne, 1982. Before the switch. The switch. I closed the book. My pulse was hammering now. I heard a noise from somewhere deep in the station. A door creaked. A faint footstep. And a voice echoed from the shadows, soft, deliberate. You shouldn't have opened that. I didn't turn around at first. That voice, it was the same calm, cold tone I'd heard at the diner. But this time it wasn't across a table. It was behind me, in the dark, inside a forgotten station where no one should be. I slipped the journal into my backpack without looking back. Another step echoed. Closer. Deliberate. Eli, she said. If you run now, you'll only make this harder. For both of us. I turned. She was standing at the end of the locker row. Gray coat. Sunglasses even in the dim, flickering light. Same woman. But this time she wasn't alone. 2 men flanked her, both tall, dressed in plain black, expressionless. One of them held something, a silver device I didn't recognize. It looked like a scanner, humming faintly, pulsing blue with each beat. I backed up slowly. Who are you? She didn't blink. I told you. I'm here to contain a situation. Your grandfather made a mistake. He tried to undo it. And now you're holding his failure in your hands. You knew him, I said. In 1982. I saw the photo. Something flickered in her face, tightness around her jaw. That was before the breach. Before he turned on us. Before the switch, I added, watching for a reaction. She smiled faintly, like a teacher watching a student guess just enough to be dangerous. You know, just enough to be hunted. Not enough to understand. She took a step closer. I stepped back. I don't want to hurt you, she said. But that journal belongs to us. If you give it to me now, this can end. You'll go back to your life. You'll forget everything. That's not going to happen, I said, gripping the backpack strap tighter. You think you're chasing the truth. But truth is just a door, Eli. Once it's open, you don't get to choose what comes through. Her words felt too rehearsed, like she'd said them before, to someone else. Maybe to Grandpa. What was Project Threshold? I asked. She exhaled through her nose. An experiment. A doorway. A mistake. Her voice dropped lower. It cracked time, Eli. That's what your grandfather never told you. He didn't vanish. He was relocated. To a version of reality where he wasn't supposed to exist. We tried to fix it. And he escaped, I said. Yes. She looked almost amused now. And then he contacted you. Which means you're connected. Which means we can't let you leave with that journal. Her hand moved toward her coat pocket. I ran. I didn't think. I just sprinted down the corridor, through the collapsed platform, past rusted benches and broken signs. Shouts behind me. Fast footsteps. One of them yelled, "Get the relay, don't let him cross." Cross what? I didn't care. I found a busted emergency exit and slammed my shoulder into it. It gave way, spilling me into an alley choked with weeds and trash. Morning light was just creeping over the rooftops. I didn't stop running until I got to my car. I didn't look back. I drove to the only place I thought might be safe, an old storage unit I'd been renting since college, one even my girlfriend didn't know about. I locked the doors, covered the windows, Sat on the floor with the journal and read. 4 hours. What I found inside. I don't even know how to explain it all yet. Equations that looked like physics but weren't. Diagrams of something called the axis mirror. Photos that showed landscapes I've never seen on Earth. People with faces that blurred at the edges. And a list, names. Some crossed out. My name was on it. Not crossed out. And my grandfather's, twice. There was also a symbol, sketched in the margins repeatedly. Like it was important. 3 interlocking circles with a single black dot in the center. Underneath one of the drawings was a note, circled twice. If this mark appears in your dreams, you've already been activated. I haven't slept in 3 days. Because last week, before the first message, I started dreaming of a black dot inside circles. And in the dream, someone keeps whispering, "You're not where you think you are." I didn't plan to survive this long. After I saw the mark in my dreams, 3 circles, the black dot pulsing like a heartbeat, I knew something irreversible had started. The journal, the messages, the photo, the woman, it wasn't a mystery anymore. It was a message chain designed to wake me up. And it worked. The past week has been a blur. I've moved cities. Changed my number. Worn the same hoodie for 5 days. But no matter how far I run, they're always close. The messages don't stop. Different numbers. Always the same tone. You have something that doesn't belong to you. Come in peacefully and we can repair the breach. Your timeline is compromised. You are destabilizing others. Destabilizing. That word comes up a lot in the journal. Grandpa used it in a section that reads more like a confession than a log. When they recruited us, we thought we were explorers. Mapping timelines, walking roads that forked in the dark. But we weren't explorers. We were weapons. They sent us to erase possibilities. Realities where someone said no instead of yes. Where a cure was found too early. Where truth leaked too far. We cleaned it up. Erased entire branches of history. Then I found one where you existed, Eli. But only there. Not here. That's when I broke protocol. That's why they came for me. He didn't protect me by running. He stole me from another timeline. Brought me into one where I was never supposed to be born. I was the breach. The final page of the journal had something taped to it, a small chipped square of black metal. A transponder, or so Grandpa called it in his notes. A failsafe, he wrote. To open the exit if things go too far. There was an address next to it. Deep in the mountains. Somewhere remote. A facility I'd never heard of. He called it the Fold Point. I went. It took me 2 days of hiking, switching cars, avoiding cameras. But I found it. A rusted steel door half buried in snow. And a scanner. I held the chip to it. The door opened. Inside was a chamber that hummed like it was breathing. Circular. Walls etched with the same symbol from my dreams, 3 rings and a dot. Machines long dormant. Consoles blinking back to life as I stepped in. And in the center, a single chair. I sat. A voice, low and tired, came from the air around me. Eli Prescott. Timeline exception. Source confirmed. Relocation initiated. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. One by one, screens lit up. Footage of places I don't remember. A version of my childhood with people I've never seen. Cities that don't exist here. A news report with my face and a headline in a language I can't read. And then, a final message appeared. You may return. But you must choose. Do you want to forget, or remember everything? I don't remember saying the words. But the light engulfed me. And now I'm here. Back in my apartment. The sky outside gray. Phone silent. No record of the messages. No photo. No journal. No chip. Only the dreams remain. Every night I see Grandpa. Younger. Smiling. Standing beside the lake again. He never speaks. But on the last night before the dreams stop, he finally turns to me. And says, "You made the right choice. But don't forget, this world isn't the only one watching." I wake up. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. One message. Welcome home, Eli. Phase 2 begins soon.